The Emerald Tablets of Toth. We're into tablet 12, and I found some shocking information here, ladies and gentlemen. I have to ask you, was Toth a practitioner of Dianetics? That's really Scientology, but I didn't want to put Scientology in my title because I thought that I might get banned for that, even though I'm still banned from live programming. We're going to get that fixed, hopefully, sooner rather than later. But I asked the question, is Toth or was Toth a practitioner of Scientology? Only slightly tongue-in-cheek, because the whole idea of Tablet 12 is the law of cause and effect. And this is something that L. Ron Hubbard took from the Emerald Tablets of Toth when he crafted his ideology of Dianetics and he crafted his ideology of Scientology. And I know a lot of you aren't going to like me, and some of you are going to unsubscribe, and frankly, that's okay if you want to. But I will use spiritual technology wherever I find it, if I find it to be effective and helpful and not detrimental in any way. And I'm born and raised here in Clearwater, Florida. I know a lot more about Scientology than most people do. In fact, I've probably forgotten more about it than most people know about it. And I'm still here in the headquarters, and I know what's going on a lot with it. And most of what is the church, I would say the church today is dangerous. I wouldn't recommend anybody join it. I wouldn't recommend anybody become a part of it. And yet there's still valuable, workable spiritual technology within that church because it's things that L. Ron Hubbard cobbled from other places, including the Emerald Tablets of Toth. And the Emerald Tablets of Toth, Tablet 12, starts off by talking about we can know the future. And most people that read this are so shallow that they think, oh, does he mean by runes? Does he mean by bones? Does he mean by tarot cards? How does he mean that we can know the future? Well, Toth says that we can know the future because the future's not been said. And remember, Toth is talking to people, trying to talk to people that are spiritual people, people that understand. It's like when the Christ said not to cast your pearls before swine. Toth is saying the very same thing. He's not casting pearls before swine. He's teaching in parables. He's teaching in riddles. He's teaching because he only wants those with ears to hear and those with eyes to see to pick up on his teaching. So what he's saying is, yes, you can know the future. And you can know the future because the future is not created yet. And he says the future is determined by free will. So let me help you put this all together so you can understand what I'm talking about with Toth and Dianetics and Scientology and you and me. This is what Toth is talking about. This is a principle that Toth taught. And I want to be very clear about this. This is a principle that Toth taught that L. Ron Hubbard picked up on. L. Ron Hubbard did a lot of study. L. Ron Hubbard milked a lot of cows to make his Dianetics and Scientology butter. Not all of it's good, but there are pieces of it that are good. And if you want to unsubscribe because I said that, that's fine. Feel free to do so. But there is good workable technology, and this is one of them, because what Toth is saying is, and let me just say it again, I would never be a Scientologist. I don't think you should be a Scientologist, but I don't think that you should reject every bit of information that comes from there just because it comes from Scientology, and I'm going to show you why. Toth said here that we can know the future. And Toth said the future is determined by free will. The future is not set. What Toth is telling you is, and again, this tablet is entabled, the law of cause and effect. Toth is telling you that you can know the future because the future is not set, because you create your future by your own free will. It's called being at cause rather than being at effect. So that's what this tablet is talking about, the law of cause and effect. Let me tell you what that means. It's really cool and it's really powerful. And if you stay at cause, you're always good. But so many times you forget and you move into effect. I forgot recently and moved into effect. And we'll talk about that a little bit as well. Cause means that you're not waiting for your ship to come in. You're swimming out to meet it. Cause means that you're not waiting for somebody to come back to save you. You're saving yourself. Cause means that You're not waiting for someone else to do something for you. You're not living in victim status. You're not living in poor me status. You're not living in a status of you can't do it by yourself. Cause means that you are the captain of your own ship. When you're living at cause, you are deciding what's going to happen to you, and you are making what's going to happen to you. You are deciding your own future. You're creating the future, just like Toth was talking about. Your future hasn't been written. Your future is determined by free will, and it's your free will. And it's living at cause, which will create the effect and change your future. If you want to have a solid financial future, the effect would be a solid financial future. Get a job, save money. Those are the causes. And if you get a job and if you save money, eventually you'll have financial security. You're telling the future. You're creating the future. When I weighed 65 more pounds than I do right now, and really 80 more because I put on about 15 pounds of muscle since December, really January, but let's just say December, I decided that I was going to go into cause and I was going to lose weight and get in shape. That's what I decided. I put myself at cause. And as I did what Jay Campbell told me to do and went out and did the work myself, I was living at cause. And the effect is that now, September or October 1st, about 10 months later, right? I've lost 65 pounds. I'm in the best shape I've been in since I was in my maybe 21 or 2. And I feel better and I look better and I'm in a better place spiritually as well because I'm at cause. And I've been at cause for 10 months in a physical, and this is a mundane example, but it's about being at cause. Effect is when you just sit around and let things happen to you. When you're not charting your own course, when you're not making your own way, when you're not causing things to happen, when you're allowing things to happen to you, that is being at effect. Now, I'm going to move past this for a minute and come back to this at the end because I want to get to what the rest of the tablet 12 said. He also said that we will be light. Eventually, we will be light beings. We will be light bodies. The light that is in us is really us because we will be beings of light eventually. And he says, don't let the dark dull you. And this ties back, ladies and gentlemen, to living at cause. Because when you're living your true light, you're living at cause. But if you allow people, places, things to dull you, you will move from living at cause and you will begin to live in effect. And it's not always evil. It's not always wicked, but it's always wrong. And it's wrong because you're not at cause and you're not creating your future. You're having your future created for you. And that's always wrong, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to get into why that's wrong here in a little bit and get into the implications of it. So don't let the dark dull you. And he also mentioned something fascinating to me, that many of the Egyptians might have gone to the stars. Why haven't we seen any more of those things built? Well, maybe the people that built them went to the stars. And he also prophesies that in the future, he said there will be a revival of wisdom. He prophesied that men would fly like birds with wings. He prophesied that we would harness electricity. Toth said this, not Nostradamus. Toth said this. And I find that absolutely fascinating. And he also prophesied that there would be warfare, nations against nations. Interesting that comes into the Bible as well. And that after the war, and this war he prophesied would kill about half of the people on the planet. And Toth said that after the war that kills about half the people on the planet, then the people remaining will look to spiritual leaders and say, okay, this hasn't worked the way we've been doing it. Can you help us out? I don't know if that's really going to happen or not. I would like to think that's going to happen. It's a very interesting possibility. Tonight on The Last Stand, I'll ask Jay Campbell about this because I think it's very, very well worth talking about. And he also predicted that Atlantis would rise again. Now, will Atlantis literally rise out of the ocean? Or will the morals and the ethics and the technology and the magic of Atlantis rise again? Are there going to be about half of the population, and that population be people like us that understand the truths and the spirituality and how to change things? Those that are living at cause? And are we going to be able to sit back when the rest of the world finally says, is okay, we're done with effect, teach us this cause stuff, something to speculate about, and that we will eventually be immortal? Then he also says that truth is not for everyone. That's one of the hardest things for me to accept, one of the hardest things for me to learn, one of the hardest things for me to understand. And unfortunately, or is it? The fact of the matter is that this way that we have chosen to walk, and I'm not talking about those of you that are dabblers. I'm not talking to those of you that are hobbyists in this. I'm talking to those of you that really have given your life to this new truth. You that have given your life to this new thought. You that have given your life to waking up. You that have given your life to waking others up. Now, I know some of us still have to go out and work some jobs. I've got to recover from some recent experiences, so I'm out working a job, and that's okay. Sometimes we get too cocooned and we get too much into our own place. And I love what I do so much. It's easy for me to sit in this trailer 24 hours a day and work. That's one thing that I owe Sandra a debt of gratitude about, is realizing that, you know what, I've got to get out of this trailer. I've got to get to the beach. I've got to get my feet in the sand. I got to get some sun on my face, because I look a lot better and feel a lot better when I have some sun. And all work and no play can make Jeffrey a dull boy. And all work and no play can dull you, because it can wear you out. But the truth is not for everyone. And this lifestyle is not for everyone. And this mission is not for everyone, because not everyone wants to live 100% at cause. A lot of people want to live some cause, but mostly effect. The life of cause, it's a tough one, ladies and gentlemen, because you wake up thinking about the mission. You're eating breakfast thinking about the mission. You're at the gym thinking about the mission. You're going to work thinking about the mission. You're, eating lunch thinking about the mission. You're thinking about the mission 24/7. And that's not for everybody, cousin. And it's very easy for you, because it can get lonely. It's very easy for those of us that are called to the mission first and foremost. And I know it's kind of a smallish crowd that I'm addressing, but those of us that have left the workaday world as much as we can, and those of us that are focusing on our mission and doing and being, and that this is our life's work. It does get lonely, and the temptation comes to try to find someone to share it with, but you have to be careful, because the idea of living at cause is foreign to most people. The idea of mission first is foreign to most people. And Toth was trying to tell us this. And if we're really going to change the world, and remember, we're in the world changing business, and cousin, that business is a booming. And I believe that. And I live that. And I'm doing that. I get emails and messages every day about people saying their world has been changed, their life has been changed. Every single day, not one day goes by that I don't get that information. So I know that when I'm living at cause, I'm causing great things to happen in my life. I'm causing great things to happen in other people's lives. Now, of course, I'm not causing it, But what I'm doing, the cause that I'm creating, that's why it's called a cause. The cause I'm creating is making great changes in people's lives. They're using it to be at cause themselves. Me being at cause causes other people to be at cause. And over the past few months, I got my eye off the ball a little bit. It doesn't have to happen this way. We're all looking for the right opportunity to get with someone else who's at cause and someone else who's mission first. We're all looking for that. But make sure that whether it's a job or a person or that's the only things I can think it to be, some type of a career move or some type of a relationship move. Because you can have a career move that looks great, but is it going to drive you away from cause? And is it going to drive you away from your great basic purpose? You can have a relationship that's great, but is it going to drive you away from cause? Is it going to drive you away from your great basic purpose? And you know what? You can change your cause. I was willing to put my cause on a little bit of a pause. In retrospect, it probably was a mistake because things weren't really the way that I thought they were, but that's okay. Because guess what, cousin? It's always a new day. But this way that we live is not for everybody. These things that we do is not for everybody. And those of us that have chosen to walk this path, Heidi knows what I'm talking about. Those of us that have chosen to walk this path, we may have chosen to walk it for the most part alone. And we have to be okay with that. We have to stay at cause. Now, all of us that have chosen to walk this path have to stay at cause as family members shake their head at us. All of us that walk this path have to stay at cause as friends SMH at us. All of us that walk this path have to stay at cause as the rest of the world SMHs us. These folks are crazy. We have to stay at cause if we want to be effective. The moment we allow ourselves to be affected by other people, to be stunted, to be slowed, to question, to limit, and even to, in some ways, halt, it's time for a reevaluation, cousin. You have to do a cause check. Am I still at cause, or have I slipped into effect? And it's not always a sin, and it's not always wrong, and it's not immoral. Sometimes you can get into effect by normal, everyday things that you have to do. We're not normal, everyday people. That's why there's so few of us that do what we do. And Toth knew this. And this 12th tablet is all about cause and effect and the key of prophecy. And prophecy is telling the future, but not the way you think it is. Cause and effect and the key to prophecy, what Toth is saying is cause and effect is the key to prophecy. Because prophecy has not yet been written. The future has not yet been written. And the future is written by free will. And cause and effect will determine your future. And he said, if you look at the cause, you can tell what the future is going to be. I can look at you and what you do and tell you what your future is going to be. Now, we have an opportunity to be at cause and predict our own future, create our own future. Why do you think I say create yourself, build the life you'll love? That's living at cause. And if we allow ourselves to live at effect, we can't tell the future anymore because the future will be what is dictated to us by external forces. Do you want to tell the future? I've never met anybody that said they didn't want to tell the future. You can tell the future. You can make the future. You can predict the future with great accuracy when and only when you live at cause and overcome the inertia of effect. Toth was talking about this, and yeah, Hubbard picked it up and put it in a book. Doesn't make it wrong, just makes a lot of other stuff in it wrong. The future, you can tell the future. You can tell your future. You can tell your future by staying at cause and doing things that you know are going to cause you to come into the place that you want to be. I can tell you Jeffrey Darty's future right now, provided Jeffrey Darty stays at cause. But when Jeffrey Darty goes into effect, all bets are off because no one knows anymore. Cause and effect is the key to prophecy. The future has not yet been written. The future is determined by free will. It's determined by you staying at cause and making your future happen. That's empowering. That's exciting. And I encourage you and I caution you, if you're going into some type of a business venture, decide what you want to be. And don't go into that venture if it's going to take you off of cause. Maybe it's a new cause for you. And if you're going into a relationship, be careful. Is it going to take you off of cause, or is it going to be a new cause? Those are your choices. But no man builds a tower without sitting down and counting the cost first. And sometimes when you're wrapped up in the love or you're wrapped up in the excitement, you don't count the cost before. And then all of a sudden you find yourself not at cause anymore, being pushed around by effect. And that's not a fun place to be. But I'm not saying blow up your business relationship. I'm not saying blow up your personal relationship. I'm saying make sure you count the cost before you get in. And if you do get in, make sure you're getting in with a cause person. And make sure that you're getting in with a mission person. And make sure, ladies and gentlemen, that you're on the same page. And if you're not on the same page at some point, if one of you stays in cause, the other one comes out of cause. If one of you stays on mission, the other one comes out of mission, and it looks like it's going to be long-term, then you've got to make a decision. Is mission more important, or is this more important? And as Derek Bros, a Global Witness, likes to say, there's nothing more important than the mission, and I agree with that. It's sometimes a hard way, a lonely way, but it's also the only way. If you have been touched, if you have been called, if you have been chosen, if you're used to living at cause, you'll never be happy living at effect. If you've been called and chosen to create your own future, you'll never be happy allowing someone else or some other thing to create it for you. We are the last generation of real humans. We've got to stay at cause. Don't slip into effect. You're the last generation of real humans. We need you. Stay out of effect. And let's get busy.